Club Bruges. They're here.
Hmm.
They're ready to party. Plus 320 at home hosting Benfica. Odds on the three-way line, minus 118. The draw is plus 275. To advance, Bruges plus 333. Benfica minus 500. This is kind of what I was talking about, how Leipzig with their draw taking on City. That's why they're 100-1, and Benfica 28-1 because they are playing the worst team in the round of 16 in their matchup. So I think I'm gonna bet Bruges on the three-way line and maybe bet them to advance, but it comes down to a lot of times, I think, because Benfica was really impressive in that group stage and they've been good in the Portuguese league. We know that they're better than Bruges, but we're still talking about a team from the Portuguese league. There's a team from the Belgian league. It's in Belgium. I think there's enough pointing to Bruges at this number, and I don't want to get too wrapped up in what we saw out of Benfica in the group stage. Like I said, it was good, but the group stage was so weird, all over the place. So I'm not too thrilled laying juice with Benfica. But BJ, you've been trying to.
I've been trying to tell people about how bad
trying to
this
squash
Bruges
this Bruges team for a long time. Yeah, but they keep.
By the way,
pulling them out.
do you guys know who's managing Bruges right now?
Scotty Parker.
Parker is managing Bruges right now after getting fired from Bournemouth after Jurgen Klopp assassinated him. I don't see it at all. I don't see with this Bruges team. Even if you look at the results coming out of the World Cup, I understand they overperformed in the Champions League. I yelled that until I was blue in the face, and it finally came to fruition against a fellow Portuguese side, Porto, who pounded them 4-0 on the road. They've won one match since the World Cup break. One match in the Belgian Pro League. They have a plus 0.35 expected goal differential in the 13th most difficult league in Europe, while Benfica, I understand they just lost Enzo Fernandez, and Anthony's going to tell you he's their best ball progressor, and they're going to lose that without him in the middle of the pitch. But they're still at around a +2 expected goal differential per 90 minutes in the 6th most difficult league in Europe. And oh, by the way, they took care of business against lesser competition in the Champions League in the group stage. I do not see it. I mean, even if you look at this Benfica attack, they've only gotten better since the transfer window. They brought in Guedes from Wolves on loan. They still have Neres. They have Gonzalo Ramos, scored a hat trick in the World Cup. This team is unbelievable. This team is awesome. They've been close to 1.5 goals better in a better league than Bruges, but yet they're only minus 110 on the money line. What? No. Give me Benfica minus 110. This is an great spot for Benfica, who's also been in great form since Endo Fernandez has left. So they still have Jairo Mario, who's a very capable central midfielder. So let's not sit here and act like just because they lost Enzo Fernandez, who's only been there for half a season, that this team that has loads and loads of talent is going to suddenly fall off in the midfield. I don't see it at all. Oh, by the way, and Andre Skov-Olsen and Jutkla, if that's how you pronounce it, I apologize, are both questionable to play in this match. Skov-Olsen, their best midfielder, and Jutkla was basically one of their best forward in this Champions League run. So Benfica minus 110. I do not see it with this Bruges team. They stink, and they've showed that all season long, but somehow Anthony's going to buy into them.
That's a Barca legend.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, I think we can look at like the sample of games in the Champions League and we can say like, oh, they're not actually a good team. But like, let's consider what wins generally in these Champions League situations, these knockout tournaments. We've seen it before. You don't need to have dominant underlying numbers in one match. You need to have a system that is effective, a good transition ability, midfielders. They have a really young team. They press effectively. Like Bruges is the kind of underdog that I want to get behind. And I understand that their underlying numbers in Belgium have been bad, but it becomes different in a Champions League environment. Let's go back to what they actually did in the Champions League, because yes, they absolutely rode Mignolet, who was God mode in the group stage. Like you can't deny that, but like, okay, they played Porto twice. They didn't just play them once. They played them twice. The first meeting they waxed them. Like there was some defensive errors, but like,
stop it. No, they didn't.
They
scored 4 goals off
of
5 shots.
again, but over 2.5 expected goals. They
With a
sat
penalty.
deep, let them have the ball,
With a defensive
transition
mistake.
effectively. Yeah, there was some defensive mistakes in there, but again, 4-0 win on the road in Porto. BJ only counts the 4-0 win that Porto got. They got
Where are
two
we playing
results
this
in that.
match at?
In Bruges. They played, and
Exactly.
they have a good home field. They played Leverkusen twice. Leverkusen, mid-table, German team who's underperformed this season, but hasn't been, like they still have, you could make the case that they're a decent team. I won't later, but played Leverkusen twice, held them under 1 expected goal in both meetings. Like, this is not a team who's just like a total sieve. The only game where they got truly pounded was Atleti in the second match when, yes, they were very, very fortunate. Mignolet was standing on his head, but they were 11 guys behind the ball defending for the point because all they needed to advance was a point. And the game never got out of a game state where they had to do anything more or even attack because they had just beaten Atleti, by the way, at home 2 weeks before. Now, Atleti was minus 115 at Bruges in the Champions League. And, BJ made the same case and he said, Bruges is still bad. We've been saying Bruges is terrible all the time. Maybe they'll be terrible on Wednesday, but catching a half goal at home, I am very intrigued by this midfield. Noah Long, one of the up and coming guys you're going to hear about in the future. I would like it if Jukla would play. He's had 8 goals and 4 assists this year. He's been good, but we don't know yet on that. But yeah, I will be on Bruges plus a half. I'll go head to head with BJ. We'll go to battle. This kind of reminds me of the Ajax situation from last year where like Ajax trucked everybody in the group stage. We were like, yes, Ajax. But the market got a little inflated on them. And I think that's a little bit of the case here. Like, yes, Benfica is better than Club Bruges, but are they good enough to be laying, minus 115 on the road at Bruges in the first leg of a matchup they don't need to win? I don't think so. So yeah, give me Bruges plus a half. We'll disagree. I'm going to fly in the face of Benfica, who look like impressive, very good. But yes, losing Enzo I think does matter in this kind of matchup, especially when you're playing a team who wants to run in transition and has the pieces to do it. Buchanan, especially, like they have really fun transition attacking pieces. And that's how they ripped apart Atleti, ripped apart Porto with some, a little bit like pressing traps, spring a mistake. Big chance. They're not going to take 20 shots. If they get 8 and they score, I think they're in good shape.